this is James from Switch Suspension. Today we're going to be going over the turning a CVT into a VT. We're getting a lot of calls, unfortunately, without support from Accuair on the warranties. We're having compressor failures and other components inside. So this will basically be able to change your CVT to a VT and allow you to continue using it with an external compressor. So basically, to remove your end caps, to access everything, you're going to need to remove one of these plugs in here to start. Then we can go with removing the end cap screws. You will need to replace the O-rings on these screws. We will have those available for people that want to do this themselves very shortly. Basically, this is going to allow us to introduce some air pressure into the tank to dislodge these O-rings, just like so. And this will allow us to access the other cap with a rod or tool of some sort. Yeah, you can use anything that's thin enough to fit. There's actually a little spot back there it'll fit. A long pry bar will actually do it as well. I just don't particularly have one of the diameter that I would need. Doesn't take much. So at this point, we need to disconnect these valve wire harnesses, which can be a little bit of a chore. Do both of those. Remove this snap ring. That allows us to remove the plug for the compressor. And just that little snap ring that holds in the wire harness. All right, now with the caps removed, you can begin the process of removing the compressor and related items. You'll no longer be using this bracket here, as now the valves are actually going to be, the wiring harness will actually go right to the cap instead of on a jumper like before. And you'll need this O-ring from the compressor harness to install on your valve harness. And then you basically orientate that correctly and insert it. Then goes back to the snap ring that we removed earlier. Okay, now that you've switched your valve harness back over and reattached that, you'll need to remove your intake solenoid. Set screw down here on the bottom. It slips off. Then you'll need to remove this fitting so that you can install a pipe plug. Keep in mind when you do this, they are reverse threads, so you'll actually put this on forward. And that removes that, which will allow you to just put a standard pipe plug in it when you're finished. So that's that cap. We'll move on to the next. Basically just repeating the same procedure. other than you'll be leaving, this is the pressure relief valve. That doesn't have to be changed for a VT to a CVT, just that other side. So this one you'll be just doing the valve bracket. And you don't really need to remove the nuts on the valves to do this job. You just need to be able to align them properly. So that way if you don't remove the nuts completely and remove the solenoid, then you have less chance of actually mixing anything up. So basically what you're looking to do is, currently you can't get these around here to where you need, so you can back these off. Basically just enough to allow you to spin them around without tugging on them too hard. Once again, orientating it correctly and then giving it a shove. Snap ring. Pretty easy. A lot of people have already worked on VU4s. This is basically the same valving that's in the VU4, so a lot of the same procedures. And now this cap is ready to be a VT. The next portion is removing the compressor itself. And our Allen wrench that fits. Only one of these is actually holds the compressor in place. That's this one here. I'm removing both, seeing as how I haven't actually slid one of these out, so I'm going to make sure that nothing's in my way. Plus I'm going to want to reseal everything. All right. I went ahead and did all the work on the caps and pulled those. Now the next thing to actually pulling this out is to get these retainer screws. You can see up at the very top there in the rails. There's 3 on each end. Just Allen screws again. No special tools of any kind. They're just a set screw. A little bit of penetrating lube here to aid this thing in sliding out. Obviously it's been together for a little while. Now we can remove the compressor, which is the source of our issues. With our valves in place. These O-rings here should be reusable. Like I said, we're going to have, I don't currently even have them. We're going to have the O-rings for the screws that you will definitely have to replace. I'm assuming we're going to go ahead and try to get all of these O-rings available for this job as well, and that'll be a kit that we sell here through Switch. So once you've got your caps will be reinstalled, you'll need to proceed with installing pipe plugs in these 2 holes, which you have now freed up, and as well as the 1/2 inch hole here. Now one piece that you will need to acquire, again we will have on site, will be the harness that will run from here to your switch box or switch speed, whichever, that would normally have come with your Accuair VT. Because you had bought a CVT, you didn't actually get that piece. We'll have part numbers and everything for you available soon, where you can get all this stuff to do this at home, as well as we'll be available to do these through the shop. All right, so we were able to get the O-rings that we needed to finish the job. I'm just going to give a basic. You have to be real careful with these screw O-rings. They are very delicate. I use a small pick and just kind of run them, thread them out of it. This is your old one. You don't have to be near as careful. You're going to take your new O-ring, basically roll it onto there. Like I said, I find that the little pick is the easiest way to ensure that you're not damaging it. We will have those O-rings in kits available that will include the all the O-rings you need to do the service. I was able to find them. I should have them in here by next week. We'll get this set up here. Go to 200 inch-pounds. And that successfully turns the CVT into a VT. You'll add the necessary plugs for ports that you need or don't need, and you're ready to go. So we've gotten our CVT all changed to a VT, and now one of the things that you will need is a harness to make it work with either your E-level or your switch speed, like in our case. So AVS makes this, we carry them. This basically just takes your valve harness, turns it into the plug for the E-level or switch speed with the ground wires that you'll need to ground. And this is what you'll use to complete that VT conversion. So we've hooked up our wire harness to our switch speed controller. AVS is even courteous enough to put the left and the right on here so that you don't get anything mixed up. So now I just have to decipher which lines are which and start reassembling my setup here. And that's basically your CVT to VT conversion, obviously with some hard line in there and an AVS wiring harness. You can click the link below to check out our website and our YouTube channel.